tomorrow, if now these farmers are from Punjab and Haryana, which are relatively close to the national capital, which is why they've drawn the attention that they have. Tomorrow, if somebody doesn't like the scrapping of Article 35A or 370, and they come and start protesting and covering all the roads coming into the national capital, would they be allowed to stay there? Ultimately, you've got a government. The government's passed a law. The law has been approved by Parliament. There are questions about the process followed, but the executive's decision was vetted by a parliamentary majority. If people take to the streets and the Supreme Court starts staying orders like this or government laws like this, then, you know, there is a very, very thin line between a judicial review and judicial activism.
Let me put it this way. Just because a parliamentary majority says so, it does not automatically become lawful or wise. Long ago,
No, who decides wisdom? Sanjay Hegde, how are you the repository of wisdom, sir?
Let me complete. Dr. Ram Manohar Lohia said, जब सड़कें खामोश रहती है, संसद आवारा हो जाता है. So ultimately, if there is a law which is unworkable and people on the streets are telling you so, then at least listen to them. Work it out whichever way you want. Parliament does its work, courts do their work, and the people at large also participate.
Okay, people on the streets are telling you so is a very dangerous argument. But let me put that question to Sambit Patra and let him respond to what you're saying and everything else he wants to come in on. Sambit.
See, first I believe that we will have more technicalities when my good friend Mr. Hegde appeared in this show, because he is a lawyer of repute. But ironically, Mr. Hegde is saying that, well, yes, all the laws that are passed from Parliament, just because the Parliament's particular party is in majority, does not make the law good. In fact, Rahul, you read out the 3 reasons when a law can in fact be stayed by the Supreme Court of India. And I repeat for the clarity of the viewers. Number 1, when the law is legislatively incompetent. Number 2, when the law violates the fundamental rights. And number 3, when the law violates other provision of the Constitution. This is the touchstone, nothing else. There is no 4th rule. These are the 3 rules. If any of these 3 rules, or all these 3 rules, or 2 of these 3 rules, in whichever permutation combination is violated, only then the Supreme Court is active and it holds the law or stays
Patra,
the law.
like a good spokesperson, Dr. Patra has quoted only one part of what happened in the Supreme Court. Let me just respond by quoting what happened after what the Attorney General said. The Chief Justice referred to a 3-judge bench order that stayed the implementation of the 2018 Maharashtra law granting reservation to Marathas in education and jobs. At that time, the court had said that staying the implementation of laws and staying the law are different things. We can always stay executive action under a law. So that's the difference the court drew. But again, as I said, I don't want to get into what the judges will do, because that's their job. Our job is to have a sensible debate. And I want to go across to Vijay Javandia on this. He is one of the founder members of the Shetkari Sangathan, part of the farmers' protest. Now, if the Supreme Court tomorrow were to stay the 3 new laws, it would be a setback to the government, but it would be useful in resolving the situation only if the farmers accept the Supreme Court's order and go back. It's very clear, sir. In the dialogue and discussions between the farmers and the government, there is no resolution. You know, you've now reached a brick wall. Will the farmers accept what the Supreme Court says? I got the sense, listening to the lawyers advocating the cause of the farmers, that you're saying Supreme Court ko jo bolna hai kar lo ji, hum nahi jayenge. I mean, what sort of an approach is that? Vijay Javandia, welcome.
Rahul, thank you for taking me on your show. And with Sambit Patra, I respect him. But what he is saying and what BJP is saying is continuously misleading not only farmers but nation also. See, farmers are ready to discuss. Farmers are constantly saying that we don't want these 3 laws. Now Sambit Patra ji is saying that there were various committees since long this was discussed. So my humble argument is this: then why Modi ji promised in 2014 about Swaminathan Commission and 50%
no,
profit
Vijay Javandia,
cost?
can I draw you on the conversation and the back and forth in the Supreme Court? My question to you is very specific, and it is this. if the Supreme Court bench led by the Chief Justice tomorrow stays the 3 new farm laws, will the farmers then accept what the Supreme Court is saying and go back to Punjab and Haryana?
Exactly. Today only I listened to one farmer leader. He was heckled by the BJP spokesperson, Mr. Dhankat from Haryana on Aaj Tak, that we were asking for committees is wrong, but you were not accepting. So the farmer leader gave answer that you were not ready to suspend this act.